Greetings. Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Rodney Gittens, and so glad to have you with us again this week, this year, this generation. And we just have another wonderful presentation for you, a conversation talking about anger, not just anger, just any anger. Of course, we have a special reason to be, special reason to share in a special way. Anger, when it comes to, and it's coming eventually. Okay, well, I know it's there somewhere. There it is. Oh, I see there's a little lag there. Anger as a force for change. And we, of course, are going to look at what anger can mean for many of us, and what it does mean for many of us, and how we can make it an even higher vibration in its meaning. However, before we get started even deeper and higher, we're going to start with our opening song to really set the stage, who we are and what we're about, and how we can serve each other. So here we go. Oh,
yeah. There's a place where love grows, where the spirit in you knows that you're welcome as you are, shining bright like every star. Come and learn, come and play in the sacred light of day. We're unfolding, growing free in the One Love family. One love, one life, one spirit divine, one heart, one life, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah. One love, one light, one light, one light, one spirit divine. Yeah. One heart, one light, one light, one light, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the sacred space, where we honor every face, the splendor of the God in you, shining through in all you do. Learning, growing, hand in hand, together we will understand. Prosperous, giving, heart set free. One love is our destiny. One love, one light, one spirit divine, one heart, one light, your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Welcome home to one love. Home to one. Welcome home to one love. Where love grows, yeah. To one love.
One love indeed. That is who we are. That is our claim to fame for each and every one of us. We are all one and we are all love, because we are all made in that spiritual image and likeness of the divine. So therefore, and simply call it God, but it doesn't matter what name, except it rhymes a lot better when we say God is love. And so, since God is a creator and created everything out of itself, including us, you, me, and everyone else, so therefore, we are love. We are the love that God is. And yeah, Um, Quick message from our practitioner, Lita Perez, who is convalescing. She's recovering. And this One Love song just really does it for her. Um, it is a really strong and passionate song of the love that we are. So, um, at this moment, I'm going to um, talk about our mission. We are on a mission, and our mission is to create a welcome and loving, stable community for all who choose to learn, practice, grow, and play in the unfolding of their understanding of spiritual principles and, very important as well, spiritual living. That's what it's about, right? I mean, all of us being spiritual beings want to have the best spiritual life possible. Yes? As long as we're in agreement with that, and whether you agree or not, I'm sure if you think about it, whatever the spiritual principles are, and if you don't know what they are, then here's an opportunity to learn more about them. Also, we envision the world as a sacred environment where spiritual living flourishes through the continued growth and development of the learning and application of the spiritual principles. And that's how important it is, because we don't want to just stop. We're okay, yeah, I know everything, I got it. Yeah. It's continual education, meaning that we are putting into practice knowledge and wisdom into our spiritual education for the best life possible. Yes? All right. So our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred and healing service, musical celebration, classes, workshops, and spiritual films. And yes, we'd love to get back to doing all of that. That was our foundation. And we certainly want to continue doing that with you in mind, in heart, and spirit. And so One Love practices love in action, service, love in action, prosperous, joyous giving in a community. And that's what it's about. So, for all of those who are with us for the first time or coming back, we welcome you. We recognize the splendor of the infinite divine spirit that is you. And please know that we support you in being the best that you choose to be in this glorious life. And we thank you for celebrating spirit with us today. Welcome to a place where love grows. Welcome to One Love Center for Spiritual Living. And with that note, one of the main things that we do is pray. We are beings who are taught and educated, learned in the ways of prayer, and we call it treatment, like a spiritual mind treatment. We're treating our minds. Let's say you have an injury or some hurt or whatever it is, and you need treatment, and you go to a doctor or clinic or whatever, wherever you go to get treatment for that issue. Well, we do the same thing on a mental basis, which is going to affect the physical as well and emotional or whatever. Treatment is needed. So we call it a mind treatment, a spiritual mind treatment. It's not just any old kind of mind treatment. Some people do mind games. We don't do that. We do spiritual mind treatment using spiritual awareness, spiritual understanding, spiritual principle, spiritual practice to treat whatever that affliction is. And so that's what it says. Our opening prayer, an evocation. We call it an evocation because we are evoking the word of the divine. It's a sacred invitation into awareness from the divine presence within. Evocation calls us into conscious recognition of the divine presence, which is always already here. And that's what we do. So we are using that one mind and making sure that when we start, whatever it is, whether it's this broadcast, the celebration, I know for myself, my opening prayer of my day is evoking the word of the divine and being in alignment with that truth uh, on a conscious level. Yeah. So I invite each one to join me as we go within, and just knowing that right where I am, the I am presence is the I am presence that is the creator of all, has created everything out of itself. If some call it Allah, Buddha, or Yahweh, or so many other names for the one, that one presence, that divine, infinite, indwelling presence, as we like to say, because that which has created everything of itself is in all of its creations as well. And so I am knowing that right here, right now, that I not only recognize and therefore unify with all that all that is available to know, to do, to have, that yes, it is present right here and right now. So I give thanks in knowing that that power is available to all and is working on our behalf, like I say, on our being whole, perfect, and complete. And so today's celebration, today's talk, today's conversation, today's lesson, today's educational moment is talking about anger. We're going to dip into and dive into what that looks like, what it feels like, what it is, and what it isn't, and how it can best serve us. We're going to talk about that all month. There's a lot to discover, a lot to recover, hmm, a lot to experience. And so, with that awareness, I know the right and perfect words are selected, the right and perfect music is selected, the right and perfect conversation with those who are watching and listening and contributing, that it's all for a greater good, whether it is evident or not. There is a vibration that is happening that is already bringing about the healing, the revealing of truth for each and every one. And I know this vibration is touching all, one way, shape, form, or another. So I give thanks for knowing that this is how it is. This is the truth. And returning full to overflowing. Knowing that this is the truth, I gratefully let it go. As I invite each one to, wherever you are, whether you say it aloud or to yourself, join me in knowing that it is so, and so it is, and now it is. Peace and blessings, beloved. Thank you. All right. And yeah, so um, what you experience is, as I mentioned, spiritual mind uh, uh, treatment. It is a affirmative prayer, and we are prayer professionals, ready, willing, and able to remind you that spirit is the power, charged and always already within you for your immediate use. And you can make a request for prayer support. You can email us at onelovecenter.org. And we also invite you to leave a voice message, and that's at 646-685-3344. Please know that you can also use the World Ministry of Prayer, the Centers for Spiritual Living. Email them at oneprayer@csl.org, or you can call them at 424-235-4326. Also, please know that all your prayer requests are kept in the strictest of confidence. And then when you contact us, we will do that prayer request for 7 days. My request is that your prayer is answered in 1 day or half a day or all 7 days. Let us know so we don't have to keep praying on it since it's already done. So let us know. And thank you for those of you who have let us know. Also, if you need more in depth, if your prayer hasn't been answered, let us know, and we will continue to pray for another 7 days, for as long as it takes until your prayer is answered. And I mean that. Listen, if it takes a year and you feel like that prayer is not answered, let us know, and we will continue to pray until it is. And there's an acronym for that. It's called PUSH. It's pray until something happens. So of course you would do that. You wouldn't stop praying, yeah, and we don't stop until that prayer is answered. So let us know when it's answered. Also, if you need more in-depth time, you can contact us, and we have what's known as a practitioner session, and it is for a fee. However, no one is turned away, and so most certainly contact us if you're interested in that as well. So thank you so much, and giving great thanks for all the work being done now behind the scenes. Thank you, Lita Perez, who is making herself available. Thank you so much. See how good God is. Yeah. So we are talking about anger, ANGER as a force for change. Now, I just wanted to mention that before we go any further, the first thing that came to mind, and for me, that was the cartoon character now in the movies. Well, for a long time, been in TV and movies. The Hulk, the big green guy, who, when he was in his meek and mild form, he says, "You wouldn't want to make me angry." And I'm sure a lot of us kind of feel that way, like, please don't get me angry. Why does that come up? Well, in this character, this cartoon, superhero, and he's a superhero, even though he's done a lot of damage in his superhero form. Uh, he's very destructive. That anger is uncontrollable. So he's saying, you wouldn't want to make me angry. Yes, for that person who is potentially going to do him some harm, but he's also like saying it to himself, like, I just can't control this anger. And I don't know how many of you uh, may have felt that way, like anger is just this uncontrollable force that, yeah, it's going to make change. However, it's going to make a mess of things too, like the Hulk. Um, and he was very defensive. If you leave him alone, he's okay. You mess with him, he's going to get angry. And so anger comes up for a lot of folks. Let's go to the next screen. And here's how I see a positive view on anger, and it's awakening the necessity for greater emotional responsibility. That's just one possible way that we can look at anger in our lives. Now, it says greater emotional responsibility. Okay. Because anger, yeah, there's an emotional responsibility for me to feel better, for me to not be angry anymore, and to make the kind of change necessary. However, a lot of times, how appropriate is that anger? Because, I mean, we can be angry, but then what happens? What is our reaction or response? As this says, responsibility. What is our response? A lot of people lash out with violence, whether it's verbal or physical, uh, and mainly because it's not having a handle on that anger, where that emotional reaction, you hear how people can describe it, red with anger. It's like they become blinded by the anger, and seem to have little or no control over what happens next, even if it brings harm to themselves. Have you seen like a bully pick on somebody smaller, and that smaller person is going to attack them no matter what anyway, and because they're angry, and sometimes they can beat the bully, and a lot of times not. However, what is available to us in the anger? Another thing about the Hulk character, throughout all of the years of this character being on TV and the movies and the comic books, He actually uh, came to a place where he could intellectually deal with that anger. He could make himself, like from meek and mild Dr. Bruce Banner, into this green hulking, many people call it a monster. Um, and then came an opportunity for him to be intellectual and be this big, strong, so that was very interesting. Boy, was I angry. My internet went out. Thank God I have access to another one, other internet. But yes, I was angry. And yes, yeah, I was angry. And it's very interesting. I took the moment to, and it wasn't much of a moment because I had to figure out what to do. So in the anger, I had to intellectually, not freak out, not turn into a big monster. I had to resolve in a responsible way. Like, yeah, I didn't bang my computer or throw anything. No, I had to figure it out, and in that way, moves us right into the first slide. It says anger can be turned into love, and I'm sure it's there somewhere. Can be turned into love, and the very power that has been destroying can be made to build up. And that's Ernest Holmes, founder of religious science, page 255 in the book, The Science of Mind. And yeah, as I was mentioning, turned into love. In that moment, I was experiencing anger. I allowed it to reflect into how do I get to resolve this? How do I get to responsibly get back on into the broadcast? And I could have been angry and lost it and messed up my computer and everything else, or the other route was use that same energy, that same power to destroy, which I didn't, to build up what I needed to do, which was to find the uh, access. And so we do have questions that we can bring up based on these quotes. And the first one is coming up. It says, "What old mental reaction am I ready to release so I can respond to life from the freedom and wisdom of who I am now?" So if you think about that, or think about it, it's an invitation. Think about it. What old mental reaction are you ready to release? Hmm. You just take a breath into that, and I'll share. For me, that old thought was a number of thoughts. Oh, I messed up. I'm not good enough. Um, uh, I don't have the best computer available. I don't have the best internet available. And it was all reflecting into me in a negative way. And I had like, mm, maybe, and it was old. Been there, done that. Don't have to do that anymore. And and so I released it. So I was able to responsibly respond, and be free with that wisdom of knowing that, hey, it's not me. Who I am now is able to find the solution, the resolution, whatever is necessary to fix the problem. And the main thing is that the problem isn't me. I don't know if any of you have gone through that, if you've done the work to separate that, because that's what it takes, to see that anger is these feelings, emotions are temporary, and they come up for a reason to maybe yet to be turned into love, to get back to love, to return to love, as the book Marianne Williamson talks about. Return to love. To love. If we're at any time we feel that we that we are not loved. Let's move on to the next quote. But before we do, just let me check something. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lita Perez says thoughts of lack. Definitely, thoughts of lack pop in and can easily produce anger for not having, for believing I don't have. All that negative self-talk gets in the way, and that can produce anger. And people have no idea what's going on. They see an angry person and have no idea why that person's angry. There doesn't seem to be anything on the outside that's causing it. So here we have another quote. It says, use your anger for good. Sound familiar? Anger to people usually means something negative, but anger is like electricity. It's just as powerful and just as useful, but only if you use it intelligently. It can be just as deadly and destructive if you abuse it. If we channel it, we can transform anger into a power that can move the world. So anger to me is a gift. This is by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Legacy of Love. My education so powerful that we have these messages, that we have these opportunities to take a pause and look at anger, that we have a choice. See, that's the main thing, our feelings. There's a saying that says it's a fact that we feel, but feelings are not fact. Okay? They, you know, um, they don't come to stay, they come to pass. Okay? All this stuff that comes up for us, it comes to pass. Yeah, even if it's in a biblical way, it came to pass. Okay? Uh, Anger comes to pass. And let's look at this reflection. It says, how can I listen to what my anger is revealing and channel its energy into courageous, loving, and constructive action? This is really important. You may want to write this down or refer back to this. It would be good if we could have these reflective questions in because we need reminders. It's been said that we have built-in forgetters, that it's very easy to forget something like this, like to listen to my anger, not react, just listen. How do I listen to my anger when I'm angry? That's not an easy thing to do. We have to recognize that we're angry and then listen and then channel its energy. And it's going to be courageous to do that. It's very easy to let our feelings, our emotions have their way with us. I mean, even if we're talking about what feels like love and what feels like um, joy, we can be wrapped up in joy and not pay attention to anything, which could actually put ourselves in jeopardy. But think about that for a moment. We can channel that same energy from anger into something beneficial. I mean, something of anger, instead of being destructive, into something beneficial. As Gandhi was talking, the path of nonviolence. Uh, when Martin Luther King and other civil rights leaders were leading people into peaceful, nonviolent sit downs, they were angry. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there doing it. They weren't happy and got nothing else to do. No, they were angry. Okay. Now, I'm not saying they were happy and joyous and smiling and everything, but they were angry for a good reason. However, they channeled in a responsible way. So that's just another example of how we can transform that anger. And let's take a look at the next quote. It says, being brave means accepting uncertainty and trying anyway, by Brene Brown. Dare to lead. And being brave means there's something going on. That means that that's a call to action. And a lot of times, anger is involved. A lot of times, anger gets us motivated for change to happen. Uh, I know I saw a near accident occurring uh, last week, and somebody wasn't paying attention. And in that moment, I felt a sense of compassion and wanting to help, and I did. I saw somebody with a child. The stroller was on the curb, and it was oncoming traffic, and the person just wasn't, thinking that somebody might turn on that corner, and would have asked them to please move back. And I did it with a mix of anger and compassion, and love, So the anger was directed, but it had to be uh, demonstrative. I had to really kind of like yell and physically put my arm out to motion to them to move back. And and it's not so funny. However, they looked at me in anger with a look, and then realized what I was saying, and then they moved back, and then they gave me a nod and kind of a half smile, because I'm sure they felt a little bit embarrassed for not paying attention. And yes, they were on the phone, and they're just looking at the phone and had the stroller way too far off the curb. However, uh, there was an acknowledgement that that they picked up that anger and responded with anger, except their response with anger was not to act in a responsible way. It was to give me a look like, mind your business, blah, blah, blah. And then they realized that, yeah, they were too close to the street, and moved back. And it's like, I had to try anyway. I had to move into that person's space and let them know. Now, of course, I'm uncertain. I have no idea how they're going to react, but I needed to do it anyway. Would I call it brave? I think it's possible. I mean, I didn't feel like I was going to be harmed. Uh, and I think if there's brave in any kind of way, it was just stepping outside of myself, my comfort zone, that kind of bravery or courage to get out of my comfort zone. And because sometimes it's easier to not break through that comfort zone. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Do we have a question that goes along with that? Let's see. Well, what do you know? Well, it says, where is life inviting me to move forward with courage, even though I cannot see yet how everything will unfold? Well, there you go. And I really didn't see this question before I went on my little rant. And so, yeah, that's the same thing. Look at how things are showing up in your life. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big demonstration. It doesn't have to, call you into you know, putting your life on the line when it talks about courage. Um, Many times it could be involved in a very small thing. It's allowing ourselves to think, to contemplate, sometimes in a very short amount of time, because we're not going to be able to see how it's going to turn out. It's like that's the thing. It's like, well, I got to do it anyway. You know, we'll see what happens. But it is a call to action, and that means it's a call for us to show up. It's a call for us to be present. You know, how many times do we go through life where I'd like to make as little decisions as possible? You know, I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know, I have to be emotionally involved with things. Anybody gone through that? You know, I just want a nice, peaceful day and, you know, go to work and just do my job and just allow for the day to go to come to go. And and that's not really necessarily living spiritually, being engaged and involved with life. Like, gee, is this why I'm here? To do as little as possible, to not feel the energy and the power of the divine in my world and all that is in my world. How do we do that without allowing for these feelings to come up? And anger comes up. Sometimes anger just comes up because I'm in disagreement with the way things are showing up. Something somebody said or something somebody did. That means I have to take a look at me. I have to reflect on where does this belief come from? And why am I acting in a certain way? You know, why am I responding in a certain way? So anyway, that's for us to look at. That's why we get to, as we talked about in our mission, why we get to study these spiritual principles. And to do that, we study our understanding of them, our understanding of ourselves, of our life, of our nature, and align it with that spiritual presence that we know we are deep down. So yeah, that's the invitation. So be on the lookout, because coming in the fall, we're going to be presenting greater opportunities to study for the education, which is just bringing out the truth that is already inherent within yourself. So let's move on to the next quote. Oh, and there are some comments that I want to thank Lita Perez for sharing. Um, yeah, it's really cute. And it's important. It says, listen uses the same letters as silent. And I mean, that's a lesson in and of itself. How many people do you know that don't listen because they're not being silent? Right? They talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and they don't hear what they actually need to hear. And so thank you for that. This quote says, and if you could please remove that, thanks. It says, when we are in pain and fear, anger and hate are our go to emotions. It's easier to be pissed off than it is to be hurt or scared. Anger is a catalyst. Holding on to it will make us exhausted and sick. That's also Brene Brown, braving the wilderness to quest for true belonging and the courage to stand alone. And so, yeah, take this on. How quickly can you be pissed off? Right? How quickly do we go straight to pain and fear, anger and hate right there? All right. And it doesn't take intellect, right? We just bypass the intellect and boom, right into, anger and hate. And usually what happens, we have to step back. We have to back away from that. We have to bring it down, right? Tone it down, you know, because the longer we hold on to it, what happens physiologically? We know that there are chemicals going on in the body. We have the adrenaline, and there are other chemicals I'm not going to name right now that the body is producing to in a physical response with that hate and anger, because it's ready, for fight or flight. It's ready, okay, and if we're not displaying, whatever that is called for, that physical action, that those chemicals eat us up on the inside. Do you know anybody who seems to be perpetually angry and perpetually spewing hate, against somebody, against something, right? And it's like, can you remember the last time they really smiled, when they looked relaxed, right? I'm sure that you've encountered somebody like that, maybe at the gas station, maybe somebody in the store, or maybe somebody, and on a regular basis, that's going to be a complaint. It's going to be anger. It's going to be hate. Okay. And maybe you also notice that they might have physical health problems or emotional health problems, issues. Okay. Exhausted and sick. There's no other way to go if we're holding on to that stuff. So what works for you when you find yourself in pain and in fear? Does it automatically transition into hate and anger? And if it is, how long are you staying there? You don't have to you don't have to stay there. You don't have to go there. And if you do, you don't have to stay there. Okay. That pistosity, Reverend Michael Beckwith says, it's a choice. It's a mental attitude that has a vicious loop. It just keeps us stuck in that loop. And we have a choice. We can get off of that train. We can get off of that. Like we're talking about that anger as a vicious cycle, a vicious circle. The picture that we're using as a background is of a racetrack. Reminding us of the Fast and the Furious. Instead, we're calling it it's like the anger and the furious, the rage and the furious. You think about being on a racetrack, and they're usually in some kind of circle. It might be an oval or a figure eight or whatever, but it loops, and it's very easy to stay stuck in that race. Our heart is racing, our mind is racing. We're not breathing fully, and it's very easy to stay trapped in that. Okay, and it's like there's no finish line. What do we do? Take your foot off the pedal. Relax. Put it in cruise control. Not the angry cruise control. But the peaceful. Like keep it under the limit. Let's not get to the limit. What happens if you drive a vehicle to the limit? It's going to start breaking down, right? You're going to burn up the oil. You're going to burn up the engine. You're going to burn out the transmission. And driving in that kind of ways, we get exhausted. So yeah, we have options. We have choices. Let's go to the next quote. Yeah. And there it is, the fear and the furious. That's what I meant to say. And the fear, you see, fear has opportunities. Fear we don't have to be afraid of fear. Okay. Fear, like anger, it has a purpose in our lives. But here's the quote. It says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Very, very yeah, very deep, very good, great book. It's a great way to start looking within, um, without having to look within. You know what I mean? Start looking within before you have to look within. Before circumstances and situations like, you know what, I can't control anything, and the only thing left to do is something we could have done before, and that's look within. You know, challenge yourself to look within, not even to necessarily change yourself. Like that listen, that's fear inducing right there. I gotta change. Is something wrong with me? Let that go. Yes, we're always changing anyway, always. However, as I talked about earlier, in our mission, it's about practicing spiritual principles. If we're going to change, let's do it on a high level, on a high note, with a high consciousness. Not changing because, life sucks and then we die. No, not that attitude. The attitude of, yeah, change needs to occur. What's the highest and best way for me to look at it, approach it, and deal with it? And that means we have to start within. And it says no longer able to change a situation. There are some situations where we're never able to change them, from jumping in, there's no way. So what do we have to do? We have to we say make it okay, but we have to get a greater understanding of what's happening. Yeah. And thank you, leader, for this. It says most would have understood if Viktor Frankl was angry toward his situation. It said he chose to search for its meaning. He said the key to, oh God, I've used this so much in my life. I believe he said the key to overcoming fear is understanding, something of that nature. But it really is a wonderful and helpful quote, and hopefully it comes up. Um, and Lita is asking, how do we handle anger of what is happening in our world, in war? Now, it takes understanding first and foremost, because a lot of what we don't understand can bring about that comes out of not being able to control something or anything or even ourselves. So when we are unable to do that, when we are unable to control a situation, you think about if you have children or or pets or anything that you are that is in your charge, and kids are running around like crazy and you can't control them, what happens? Well, we do fear something might happen to them. And then we get angry, like, I can't control them. I can't control myself. I can't, how do I control the situation? I can't control that people are throwing bombs at each other. I can't change that in and of myself. There are things that I can do. I can look at the situation differently. Well, like the serenity prayer, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that right there is very helpful because, first of all, there's acceptance. Okay, it's happening. I didn't start it. I can't seem to finish it. And then what courage is necessary? Perhaps I can join a peace circle, a meditative circle. Perhaps I can support by voting people who can make a difference. Join a group of people who can make a positive change. These are some of the things that we can do, knowing that first and foremost, I can't necessarily control the outcome, but there are some things that I can do. Is people who have that same mindset. When two or more are gathered in the name of love, in the name of peace, then that's a powerful force for change. Margaret Mead has a quote, which just escapes me in a moment, about when people come together, what a powerful change that they can make. Um, and another thing is when we come together, there's less fear. You know, um, we come together with more opportunities and possibilities to not have to stay angry, because now we're putting our mind together to come up with a better solution than one that we could do on our own. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any more quotes? If not, we're going to take it to the next stage. Okay, so here's his quote. And this really moves us into what's next. To me, this is a prayer. This is an affirmative prayer. Okay. And it's also a quote. It says, I know that my word transmutes every energy into constructive action, producing health, harmony, happiness, and success. Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You. It's a very thin book, page 152. Okay. And let me tell you, that book has a lot of powerful messages that I think that's a great way to start if you haven't already in this teaching, this new thought teaching about understanding spiritual principles and practices. So, what I just mentioned is this is how we get to use our word in a positive way, producing energy, using our energy in constructive ways. So, let's take a look at something very quickly. And this is the Margaret Mead quote. And thank you very much for bringing this to my attention. It's the proper quote. And I'm going to post it in the comment so everybody can see it. And not only that, I'm going to bring it to the screen. And so it says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Instead, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you, Lita, for bringing that up. And it's so important that we realize we don't have to do this alone. Okay. Yes, we are tapped into the one mind that is shared by all, and just how powerful it is when many of us who are aware that we are sharing that one mind that is operating the space of love and peace and harmony and joy and compassion, all of that. Yeah, we come together in a very powerful way. So let's bring up some affirmations. We're going to move into using our word, right? We know already it is my word. We use our word in a powerful way, whether you speak it aloud or not. Okay? You can be meditating using your word, knowing that, yes, there is peace available for each and every one. I know that right where I am, peace is. And right where I am, there are millions and millions and billions of people who are in alignment with that truth. Yes, that's how we use our word, whether we speak it out loud or to ourselves. And so we're going to do our affirmations. And the way that we do our affirmations is we like to do affirmations is by saying them twice. And before each time we take a breath and release the breath. I say, give a breath. Okay. So we're in a flow. So I invite each one to take in a breath and release and recite. It is so that I channel my anger into sacred, purposeful action. Let's breathe in again and recite that again. It is so that I channel my anger into sacred, purposeful action. Let's take another breath. It is so that I honor my anger as a sacred messenger, revealing truth, wisdom, and the next right step. Hmm. Let's take that in, breathe in. It is so that I honor my anger as a sacred messenger, revealing truth, wisdom, and the next right step. Thank you. And the next one. Breathe in, breathe out. It is so that I remain open in every moment, choosing conscious response over unconscious reaction. Oh, that is so good. Just breathe in, recite that again. And when you say it like you wrote it, like you know it's true. It is so that I remain open in every moment, choosing conscious response over unconscious reaction. It is so, and so it is, and now it is. And just stay in this mode right now. And just stay in this place of reflection, of having spoken these words of power and believing in them, knowing that they are already doing exactly what you have spoken for yourself and for all others, because we're all one. Each one is on some level already feeling the power of your affirmative, your affirmation, your affirmative prayer. So I thank you. I know that each one, whether they know it or not, on some level or not, they are grateful as well. So at this point, we're going to go into a, another affirmative prayer, a spiritual mind treatment for all. And I am inviting everyone to join me. I am inviting everyone to feel that sense of knowing, to feel that sense of the belonging, knowing that, yeah, all is well. We have a little music going on behind us. I invite you, if you're able, close your eyes, to release any potential distractions. And just know with me that there's only one life, one power, one creator, one divine intelligence. And this power and presence is not just within me, it made me, it is me. And this is true of each and every one, that each one is of this power, this God power that's created the universe and universes and everything that we consider as life and intelligent, and even that which is not. It made it all. And so I am knowing that at this time together, with all that has been shared, that each one takes the moment of reflection to go within, to feel the sense of oneness, a sense of loving purpose, of being able to direct anger into love, anger into something productive and positive in all aspects, in all activity, in all of their affairs. Each one says yes. It's okay to feel angry. Just don't stay there. When it comes to anger, I know that there is a possibility that it can lead to my healing. I know this for each and every one. Not having to stay in the emotion of anger, cutting a finger, let it lead to putting on the proper treatment, putting on a band-aid, getting more help in treating whatever that affliction is. Feeling anger about not enough money in the bank account, leading to an indwelling, motivating way in which one can resolve that issue, using that energy to be motivated, to be still and listen to that right and perfect way in which to have more money show up, to link themselves with the truth that there is ever available, that which is necessary to be about their Father's business, their mother, father's God purpose for each one being on the planet. That yes, whatever anger shows up with family and friends and co-workers and anybody else, even people driving on the road, allowing that anger to show how much one cares so deeply that even if it's uncontrollable, whatever situation it is, that there is still a way to be responsible, still a way to find a peaceful resolution. And knowing that that is available even for so-called world leaders, that there is another way besides war and hate, operating in fear and not allowing for love to lead the way. And so I give thanks in knowing there is plenty of other ways, and using anger only as a guidepost to return to the love, to use love and peace and harmony and joy in the healing of whatever discord there seems to be. And so with this, I speak this word. With this, I know this word spoken into the law of divine right action, knows what to do, how to do, when to do it. And it's already happening right now. And because I know that, because I know this, I simply release this word and let it be the good that it is unfolding to be in the here and the right now. And I affirm it by knowing that it is done. I allow it to be. And so I say, it is so, and so it is, and now it is. And thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, that is just a small sample of the prayer that we get to do for you. You know, whatever the situation is, we know that that prayer is available for each and every one. And at this time, we also want to give thanks. I want to thank everybody for allowing us to pray for them. And I want to thank everybody for their givingness, for allowing for us to be good stewards of the donations, of the tithe, of the love offerings that you give. And we are grateful for your donations to One Love. You can continue to do so or do so through PayPal. Go to our website, onelovecenter.org, and go to the PayPal button, and you can use whatever form that you'd like to use to make payment. We give thanks. We are grateful. And and, we have expenses that go on behind the scenes using this platform. There are other things that we do that allow us to get the message out, and as well as to support our overall Centers for Spiritual Living, and other communities. So, your donations help. You can also use the Cash Me app, which is $OneLoveCSL. And in that way, we'll also receive your generosity. Thank you so much. And to assist with that, guess what? We have affirmations, affirmation of abundance. And it goes like this. I know Ellen likes to say, put your hand over your heart. I say, yeah, that's a great way to feel that cosmic vibration that is moving in, through, and as us. And just feel that from that act of giving, just a thought of giving, it just resonates within. So let's do the affirmation of abundance. It says money, as one of the many gifts of spirit, is good. And as I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to receive more money, more gift, more good. And I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good work these gifts do in our center and in our world. And now it is. Peace and blessings, beloveds. And we now have some announcements. There is the book of the month, Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, who's a frequent contributor to many of us in this teaching. Also, we have the tech support. We are requesting tech support. So, technical assistance is necessary and needed for our Sunday broadcast. Do you know someone? Or would it be you, or do you know someone to have a heart to serve our mission? You can contact us send us an email, oneLove@onelovecenter.org, or 646-685-3344. Also, the Science of Mind magazine, a great resource. If this is new to you, or even if you've been with this teaching for a while and you're not getting the Science of Mind magazine, well, guess what? You can have it, and you can have it for free for 6 months. So here's just a portion of what's in there. Today, there's a quote from J.R.R. Tolkien, and she writes, "A man that flies from his fear," that's a she, I mean he, "a man that flies from his fear may find that he has only taken a shortcut to meet it." Ooh, that's so deep. And the quote from Ernest Holmes says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Hebrews 11:1, quoted by Ernest Holmes in Science of Mind. So, yeah, let us know. Contact us. Send us an email, oneLove@onelovecenter.org. Put your information in there. And and let us know, hey, I want to be a part of what you guys do. We will set it up so you get 6 months of the Science of Mind magazine for free. And coming up is Save the Date. Save the Date, which is really coming up. This is August 13th, so within 2 weeks, and it's not too late. You can immerse yourself in the wisdom of leading spiritual teachers, participate in inspiring master classes, uplift your spirit with heart-warming, heart-expanding music, connection, laughter. We're going to play a video of this that you can most certainly get a better idea of what's happening within the next 2 weeks. It's not too late, okay? And you can look for Celebrating Our Soul or People of African Descent New Thought Group online. You can go to Facebook, look for padntg.org, and here's the video.
Rudy Nyumbani is Swahili for come home. The People of African Descent New Thought Group invite you to follow your ancestral call to attend Celebrating Our Soul, Claiming Our Sacred Power at Unity Village from August 13th through 16th, 2026. This special time calls you to awaken, remember your sacred power, take the journey to transform challenge into conquest, where you depart from your former self to embrace your genuine power. Our music will inspire you. Our singers will awaken you. Keynote speakers like Ishmael Tete will serendipitously or intentionally connect you with your spirit and your roots. Reverend Michael Beckwith will have you on your feet, either praising God or getting down from your inner spirit to the top of your crown chakra. The African drummers from the Traditional Music Society and the Isoke dancers will have you dancing with your ancestors. And the brilliant masterclass presenters will open your minds and hearts in miraculous ways. Energy healing workers will restore your body so that it is in alignment with your newly revived spirit. You can get Reiki, a massage, craniosacral therapy, or do daily Qigong with Baji Daniels. There are many activities on the program and a couple of off-site trips. But you can stay on the grounds and chill if you'd like. Enjoy the fountains or labyrinth or peaceful trails, or simply chill with your friends. If you can't be there in person, don't fret. Our virtual option is now available. Virtual registrants will be able to access the Zoom recordings 2 weeks after the conference ends, Monday, August 31st. The recordings will be available for 1 month through September 30. To be there virtually on Zoom, go to padntg.breezecms.com/forum/COS virtual 2026. Again, that's padntg.breezecms.com/forum/COS virtual 2026. It's up to you how you celebrate your soul. But whatever you do, please celebrate you and get your ticket today at padntg.org. See you there.
Well, there you go. I'll be there. So come on down. So thank you for sharing with us today. We invite you to join us next week for our topic, fierce clarity, when fear becomes a compass. How powerful is that? So thank you again. And we're going to have a closing prayer and a closing song. And then after that, I'll say so long. See you next week. So first and foremost, I invite you again to come within, to join within, to be that place within where everyone is. Yes, with the one mind that each and every one has. Yeah, that's right. You're there, I'm there, we're there, we're all there. So I am knowing that right where that is, which is everywhere, that each one knows on a not so deep level that there is an option, that there's a chance, that each one gets to control their anger and use it in a positive, powerful way. That each one looks within to move throughout their day and any opportunity to be the peace in the midst of anger, to be the love, allowing anger to point to that love, not just for themselves, but for all. Because love it's not a selfish thing. Anger can be selfish, but not love. Anger can point to that greater possibility, the greater presence of love in action, where it doesn't have to be stuck in anger. That anger moves and uses that power and changes itself into something more useful and meaningful. And so I give thanks for knowing that each one gets to do this, that each one gets to contemplate on how anger can serve a better purpose than just displaying the emotion, the dissatisfaction or displeasure. No, that anger shows a deep caring and a compassion and moves directly into love. So for this and so much more, I give thanks knowing it's already a divine opportunity for each and every one. So I let it be the good that it is, unfolding to be here now and forever. And so it is, and now it is. It's here. One Love closing song.
Ooh, yeah. There's a place where love grows, where the spirit in you knows that you're welcome as you are, shining bright like every star. Come and learn, come and play in the sacred light of day. We're unfolding, growing free in the one love family. One love, one life, one spirit divine, one heart, one life. Your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. Whoa. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah. Through our prayer and meditation, joyous sacred celebration, we give thanks for all we are. Every soul has come so far. Love in action, service true, the divine spirit that is you. We're awakening, can't you see? Living love and living free. One love, one life, one spirit divine, one heart, one life. Your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. Yeah. Welcome to this sacred space where we honor every face. The splendor of the God in you, shining through in all you do. Learning, growing hand in hand. Together we will understand. Prosperous, giving, hearts set free. One love is our destiny. One love, one life, one spirit divine, one heart, one life. Your journey and mine, where compassion flows and grace abounds. One love, where love grows, love is found. One love, where love grows all around. One love, where love grows all around. One love, where love grows all around. Welcome home to one love. Yeah. Welcome home to one love. Where love grows. Where love grows. Where love grows.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you again for being with us. Thank you, Lita Perez, for being behind the scenes and helping out in your wonderful way. And we'll see you again next week and the weeks to come. Peace and blessings.